that you used. What is the next punch Australia going to throw? Because Zampa finishes, and I think Cummins has bowled, what, 8 overs?
There's not many punches left. Look, I think Australia have done a pretty good job to hang in this game, actually. Zampa's bowled well enough. There's another single through that offside. So, you know, you're going to get 6 and over, 5 or 6 in this over without playing a shot in anger. As the 200 comes up.
I think from this point onwards, the one thing India want is to see Surya Kumar Yadav not out if those 77 are made. At the moment, the single is not a problem at all. Space is all over. It's like a sieve. There's no pressure. 201 for 4. .201 for 4. This is where the rest of the bowling has to stand up for Australia. They've got to convert this game into, or rather they've got to drag the game their way, starting with Abbott.
He's got a bit of a knack, Sean Abbott, of picking out wickets. He's that sort of bowler where he'll try things. He'll bowl a bouncer, a slower ball, got a good Yorker. I think that's what he's got to do now. Just think bowling line and lengths. It's not going to work. I think he's got to throw a bit of caution to the wind.
Ball starting to flow up the middle of the bat a lot better now for Yadav.
Yeah, it's a confidence thing, isn't it? Absolutely. You own and format. You walk in there, you saunter in, you feel like a king, and suddenly you, the back of a few blobs, you walk out. It's the same white ball, but it's a different format. You come in and you think, oh, do I belong here?
I haven't heard that saying for a long time, a blob.
We used to use it a lot, but I must confess, yeah, I haven't used it for a while myself. Few blobs. How many blobs did we have on the card today? Mohan, how many blobs today?
If you consider none for 25, none for 32, none for 34, none for 24 as blobs. Inside edge. In the last half an hour, 45 minutes or even more, the ball isn't coming off the surface as it did early on in the innings. Even to the spinner, there were a few which held up in the surface. Now even the seamers, when you're trying to play on the up, and it looked a completely different game when Ruturaj Gaikwad and Shubman Gill were in that freewheeling partnership.
Interesting to see how Sky plays this innings now. He's dealing in singles. He's just had that one boundary, that trademark little uppercut. He's happy to play the singles at this stage. Difference between runs and balls down to 7, but it's not dangerous at all. Required run rate just 5.5.
Well, that's all he needs to do. He doesn't need to play the big shots. He's got to play according to the game situation. And it's not that easy, I think, at the moment to go out there and just flay it around. We've seen the ball. We've mentioned it's just starting to slow off a bit off the surface. So you've just got to be a little careful driving on the up and those sorts of shots. Game situation means just hitting the gaps at the moment.
73 is still a fair number of runs to get.
What Australia will be hoping is they can get to the last over where India needs 6, or 15 off 2, and all of a sudden there's a little bit of pressure. That's what we'll be hoping to do, drag it out right to the death and somehow get a new batsman in and build a few dot balls that way.
Called early, produced a misfield, but there's always going to be a single. 4 came of that over. Pretty good one for Australia. 205 for 4.
Welcome to Sapphire. We take pride in being a fully regulated clinic, holding ourselves to the highest standards. We're not here to get you high. Pipes are not our cup of tea. These brownies, they are just plain, regular brownies. You can trust Sapphire for expert and reliable guidance. Interested? Search for Sapphire Clinics online to find out more about booking a consultation.
Marcus Stoinis comes back, took the new ball. 3 overs for 25. Didn't have the pace, didn't get quite the movement. And ran into Ruturaj Gaikwad and Shubman Gill in sublime form. He's got a job to do here, get wickets. Maybe build pressure by bowling 2 or 3 quiet overs, then search for the boundary, produces the wicket. At the moment there isn't much pressure. Six inside the field. India's bowling star today was Mohammad Shami. The wickets of Mitch Marsh and Steve Smith took excellent deliveries and then came back to get Stoinis short and Sean Abbott at the end. But the spinners did a decent job too, between them Jadeja and Ashwin. That was the first wicket. Then Steve Smith, when he came back after looking like he was exhausted, very, very hot in the afternoon.
He had his hands on his knees after 3 overs, didn't he, Mohammad Shami? But with the new ball up front, he looked to hit the seam, and he got as much movement as any bowler today. And then when the ball got softer, he took pace off it. So it's a pretty good effort to get 5 wickets on this surface.
There's a lot of bats that have just gone out onto the ground. 2 for KL Rahul, 3 for Surya Kumar Yadav. That's a lot of bats at a Kidbag. You travelled with 7 or 8, didn't you, Mark?
3. Total 3. Obviously 1 you used. That's a good shot. Punch down the ground. That will be 4.
Whatever the change it was, it has worked. Yeah, you can carry as many bats as you want. You want shots like that. Again, Marcus Stoinis not hitting anything. There was nothing on the delivery. Just floated out there, and a nice drive. Stayed with that shape of his. Managed to find the timing, Surya.
You very finicky? Had to be the exact weight, right balance?
I don't think we were quite as finicky in those days, to be honest. I actually had a slightly longer blade and a normal handle, but a longer blade. I had 3 bats, so 1 you used was your main bat, then your second pick, and then obviously you need the spare one if one of those broke, so 3. And Steve Smith, I reckon he's got about 15 in his kit bag.
Remember a series, it was the Tri-Series in Zimbabwe under Greg Chappell. We lost the game to New Zealand. We counted the number of bats we had. It was more than the runs we had scored. 120 of them, 120 bats in the team.
It's like Murli Karthik, can never travel unless he's got 12 watches with him.
Still watchman, are you?
Trust Harsha Bhogle to say something out of the ordinary.
Oh.
He's
What
a
about
wind-up merchant.
You don't have
Well,
any of those wind-up watches, do you?
Doesn't have as many watches as MS Dhoni's got motorcycles and cars. He's got a proper Formula One garage, hasn't he, MS Dhoni?
Actually, here's a good quiz question. Who's got more? Murali Kartik watches has got more watches, or MS Dhoni's got more bikes?
I'm going with MS Dhoni by a fair margin.
It's a good shot for one because it's an excellent piece of work in the field by David Warner. It's 211 for 4 after 38 overs. Murali Kartik is left. .66 needed in 72 balls. India going at 5.55, need to go at 5.5. Sanjay Manjrekar in the commentary box with Brad Haddon. Wicket-keeping gloves, how many did you carry?
Good evening, Harsha. I think I would have had about 5 by the end, but Steve Smith is the one. He carries an extra cricket kit with his batting gloves. He'd have 30 sets of batting gloves on tour.
Really? 30 sets, 30 pairs of batting gloves.
30 pairs of batting gloves at least.
Is that a fetish? Just starting to find his bearings here, Surya Kumar Yadav. Sanjay Manjrekar is thinking, did I have 30 pairs of gloves over a career?
I was just thinking whether it is something which is maybe an idiosyncrasy with him, just wants to have gloves, or he genuinely needs those many. Some people who sweat a lot tend to wear inners and protect their gloves, so that they have to carry just 3-4 pairs.
Well, if you have a look at Kishan today, he changed his gloves after 3 ball. If you do the maths, he doesn't have to bat for that long to need 30 pairs of gloves.
True. So guys, for me, just watching the match so far from behind, the big story is Surya Kumar Yadav, who's faced 24 balls and I don't think he's played a single sweep shot. Now that is Surya Kumar Yadav. Not batting like Surya Kumar Yadav. There was one innings, if you remember the last inning that he played a lot of sweep shots. Scratchy innings, wasn't getting it right shot. That was his staple diet in T20 cricket. But today, I think he's come out, decided he's going to play the proper 50 overs game. That's why those shots straight down the ground are pleasing and will give him a lot of confidence because he's searching for that game. He's got the T20 game well within his command. He can, draw on it whenever he feels like.